Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of Straight Out of College. I'm Daniel, a student-to-be graduate from the University of Toledo. For any new members joining us, Straight Out of College is a podcast that focuses on what life is like or what it might be like after graduation. So we interview college students and graduates to see their perspective on what the transition from college to post-graduation is like. So today we are going to be interviewing Alex Altwies. Alex, welcome to the show.
Hi.
So, to start things off, could you go ahead and say where you went to school, when you graduated, and what you studied?
Okay, so I started at Western Michigan, and I transferred to University of Toledo, and I changed my major like 4 times, but I'm sure we'll get into that. But I have a degree in media communication and a minor in business administration.
Cool. And one random fun fact about yourself.
Oh, God. Wow, I feel like I'm not interested. I can't think of one fun thing.
Not one thing. Where do you work?
I work at a real estate office.
Okay, that's cool. So you do like real estate stuff?
I do now. I didn't know anything about real estate before I started, so.
So how'd you get into it?
So last year when I graduated, I was just like applying for jobs like crazy. Came across a marketing position for a local realtor, applied, and she actually reached out to me. I was actually in the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A with my sister in the car, and I got a call from this number, and I'd been applying to jobs, so like I was always answering my phone even if I didn't know the number, and I was like, I gotta take this. And she like literally wanted to like straight up have a conversation. I was like, to be honest, like I'm in the drive-thru line at Chick-fil-A, like can I call you back?
Right.
But anyway, so called her back, and she said that she like loved my resume and my cover letter, like it really stood out to her. She wanted to interview me. So she's actually the wife to the realtor I work for. It was kind of doing my position before I started working there. Went in, she was sick the first day of my interview. So he interviewed me.
Yeah.
And like the other realtor that works in our office, and I was so nervous. Like they were literally like playing good cop bad cop. Like I'm not kidding. They told me afterwards like they were literally doing that on purpose to like mess with me. And they always bring up like how nervous I was in my first interview. But yeah, they're like, well, you don't really know anything about real estate, but we think you have like a lot of great skills and like fresh ideas that you could bring to our team. They're like, but it just really concerns us that you don't like have experience with real estate. And so they had me come in and actually like role play an entire day at the office.
Okay.
As like my second interview. Well, I actually had a second interview when she was there. So then like my final interview, they had me come in, work 9 to 5, and give me like a list of tasks that would be like a typical day's work, which was kind of hard. I mean, I was there all day, so I'm like sitting there, I'm like, wow, this could be like where I work for a while. So yeah, so I did that, and they called and offered me the job like a week later. But yeah, so it was really interesting. I kind of just like the position stood out to me because it had like the marketing photography side of it, which I enjoy, and obviously over time I've like picked up on the real estate things. Like I'm still learning things every day, but it's crazy how much I've learned in the past year.
So how do you like it so far?
I really like it. I like that it's always different. It's cool because obviously we're always in different houses. We're always working with different clients. You get to meet a lot of really cool people, whether it's a family relocating because of a job or like an older person transitioning into like a retirement community or something like that. So it's cool helping people shift into like different like parts of their lives and kind of help them with that transition. Because obviously like that's, for most people, like a home is a really sentimental thing. So for a lot of people, it's kind of a bittersweet process. So I just think it's cool the people you get to meet, and like I said, it's always different. So yeah, I like it. And I would say the only time that it's kind of not fun is when we're really slow. And obviously with any market, like it's got its ups and downs. So like right now it's the spring market and it's pretty busy. So that's nice.
Do you have any like out of the ordinary stories from any of your experiences so far?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I feel like I don't really have any out of the ordinary stories, but no. I mean, he's been a realtor for 24 years, so he tells me stuff all the time. Just like things you come across, like just people you meet. There's just a lot of interesting people out there. But
for sure. Cool. So, has anything from college really have you gained anything from college that you're kind of like putting into your job now? Like any like skills, communication skills, or anything? Or has it been a lot of learning as you go?
I would say a combination of both. Like, obviously I've carried skills with me that like I've gained in college. I think that just communication skills in general, like college is a time where you're meeting a lot of people, you're networking, like you learn how to talk to people, learn about what they do. So I think that's really important, because going into this, if I wasn't curious about like what my boss or other people at my office did, I wouldn't learn anything. But because we've both been very open with each other and I've asked a lot of questions, they've had me cross-train and do lots of things.
So like, what's your typical day look like?
So like a typical day, let's say we have a new listing coming up. So he goes out, signs paperwork, it's all ready to go. So then we schedule pictures, and that's when I go out and I kind of take detailed notes on all the houses. I mean, I go through like, what kind of ceiling is it? Is there carpet or vinyl or hardwood floors? Is there an eat-in area in the kitchen? I mean, just down to the very last detail. And then once I've done notes, I go through and I do all the photography, which has become my favorite part. When I first started, I really enjoyed the writing, communication side of everything I do. But now that I've gotten into the photography, I've learned so much in like Photoshop and Lightroom, and it's so fun to me to just like see myself improve, and over the last 12 months like look back at what my work was and be like, wow, like, yeah. So it's actually cool because we actually just got a listing because a couple came across our website and loved our photography, and that's how the realtor I worked for got the listings. That was a cool just like pat on the back. It felt good. I'm like, oh, that's cool, like that's literally because of me, like we got that listing, so that's really cool. But yeah, so I go through, take all the photography, and then I'll come back to the office. First thing, so like when you have a new listing, it goes in to like an MLS system, which is like the multiple listing services. So like that's what all realtors use to kind of get the data out onto the internet, and it populates to Zillow, Realtor.com, and all those other websites that you search for houses on. So that's like a 3-page data sheet of, like I said, just like all the little details I collected, like the address, the parcel ID, number of bedrooms, baths, size of the garage, square feet, year it was built, everything down to like the room sizes, features, whether it has a garage, if it's attached, lot size, I mean just like everything you can think of. And then we have someone in the office who like inputs all that data, so I fill it all out, then they input that, and then usually while they're doing that, I'll get to editing. I mean, because it's got to be a fast turnaround. Yeah. Because it's not like, oh, I did these pictures. I mean, if it's being listed that day, like I typically have anywhere from 1 to 2 hours to edit, like max, because we've got to get them up online. Just for like our client's sake and buyer's sake, and also because like legally, like your office can get fined if you don't get stuff up to the MLS in time. So yeah, then I get everything up on there, and then I start like the actual marketing process. We have a whole list of like, we basically, when we get a new listing, we like launch a marketing plan, and that's everything from sending out the first email to top producing agents in the area saying we have a new listing, making a brochure for the house for showing appointments, making outside brochures for the box and the sign that go, like the for sale sign that go in front of the house. We mail out postcards to surrounding subdivisions in the area that the house is for sale. We create a visual tour online for the house, just like a slideshow of pictures. It's really fun music, but yeah. So
for the like brochures and like, say, what was the other thing? Brochures, like, postcards. Do you like use InDesign for that, or?
So I don't use InDesign. I'm really old school and we just use Publisher. But like I take ideas from like other like graphic design type stuff and kind of just design it in Publisher, and mainly that's how they've always done it. And so if I'm not there's no one else that knows how to do InDesign. So I've basically rebranded him in the last 6 months, and I've created all these templates that are super easy for anyone in the office to use. So if I were to go on vacation, like anyone can go in there, and it's pretty self-explanatory from that point. So that's kind of why I would love to learn that, because I know if I were to take these skills anywhere else, like that's pretty essential. But for right now, that's just how we're doing it, just because it makes sense for everyone in the office and it's just easy.
Gets the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like one common trend I've noticed so far is that like whatever major you go into, you might not necessarily get something that's in that major, but it could be something that relates to it, and that the major kind of scrapes the surface of what you can do. So so like for example, you said you do photography, and I don't think they have photography lessons. It'd be really cool if they did though. I feel like that would really fit into the curriculum. And then just like working with publisher and doing more like kind of graphic design work. I feel like that'd be cool if we did more of that, which I am technically taking a graphic design class right now, but yeah, like I feel like college kind of scrapes the surface of what you can do for whatever you're going into. I mean, obviously there's like nursing where it's like you're going to do nursing, but for stuff like communication or business, it just kind of covers that broad area of things that you can do with it, and it just kind of broadens out.
Oh yeah, if you would like ask me 5 years ago when I started college, if I was going to be going into real estate, I'd be like, what? Like why? Why would I go into real estate? And it's funny because everyone's like, well, when are you going to get your license? Like, are you going to start selling houses? And I'm like, whoa, no, like I have no desire to do that. Like what I'm doing is so kind of behind the scenes, like not in any way. Like it's nice because we've got our realtors that are good at what they do, and then we've got other, like we have a closing coordinator and like our office administrator, and then like what I do because I'm like the manager of marketing. So we all have nice little pieces that fit together and it works. But I mean, he tells me all the time, he's like, honestly, he goes, if I had to do what you do for a day, he's like, I'd be screwed.
So do you want to continue going into real estate, or do you want to go, so at UT with our media communication, like our field of study kind of focused more towards video production and a little more towards radio production. Would you want to kind of go back into that, or do you want to focus more towards real estate, or just kind of see where life takes you from the future and just kind of go with it?
Yeah, probably the latter, just because I enjoy real estate. It's cool to have that in my back pocket, because I'm not only gaining experience and partially what I went to school for, like I'm getting experience in marketing and media and digital marketing and social media marketing and all of that fun stuff. Oh yeah, I do all the social media too. There's so many things I just like whatever. So yeah. So then I'm gaining experience in all of that. Plus like I'm learning a ton about real estate. So I mean, essentially, if I really wanted to, like I could go be like a closing coordinator at an office, because like I have so much experience with it, and like it's not what I do every day, but I know enough about it that I could learn to do it every day. But also, I kind of am just, I don't know. I'm kind of just up for whatever right now.
Kind of going with it?
Yes, I'm very much just going with the flow right now.
I feel it. And it's like definitely not bad to be like a yes man, just kind of say yes to everything, for sure.
Yeah, like I'm 23 years old and graduated from college and have a full-time job, and I still don't know what my dream job is, so we're just going with it.
Sure, I got it. So what are some, do you have like any challenges that you're currently facing where it's just kind of been difficult, or anything that's kind of like a bump in the road that you're kind of hitting and is kind of...
So I guess I wouldn't call it a bump in the road, but I've been thinking a lot lately about like my 5-year plan and where I want to be. And it's not that I don't love my job, but it's like, okay, is Toledo where I want to end up for the rest of my life? Is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? And I get that little bug in my ear that's like, if you don't leave now, you never will. And that's scary. So
I mean, Toledo's not that bad.
No, I'm not saying Toledo's bad. I'm just saying there's so many other places out there
I gotcha.
that I would hate to look back 20 years from now and go, what if?
No, I completely got it. Like, one of my big things I want to do is, like, my 5-year plan is study my ass off in Toledo, work here, get like a decent job, and then I really want to move out to California, but it's a little expensive out there.
It's a little expensive, and I don't know if it's my scene.
Yeah, a little more dry.
Yeah, people are different out there. Way different than the Midwest.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, but no, I kind of get what you're saying, where you kind of get a little scared about just where you are 5 years from now. Because, like, another common thing I've heard is that your 20s is the biggest time to be able to take risks, because you don't have like a family you have to take care of. You're kind of more able to make those risks without it affecting other people.
Yeah, I think it's a like, not that it's good to be a selfish person, but I think that this is your time in your 20s to be selfish and make decisions that are essentially going to kind of shape the rest of your life and what you do.
Right. Cool. Well, is there anything that's going really good right now? Anything really exciting that you just want to talk about?
Okay, so today we found out that the realtor I work for is one of the 10 best realtors in all of Ohio.
Okay.
Which is a really big deal. There's like over 33,000 realtors in Ohio.
So top 10's not bad.
No, it's kind of a big deal. So he was really excited about it, and he was like, thank you guys. And I'm like, okay, you can't thank me too much because they said that they took into consideration your 24 years of experience, and I've only been here once. So like, but no, he's great to work for because he's just very appreciative of everyone, and he would never, he's not one of those people that like takes all the credit, and like he knows that he's successful because he has a successful team.
Yeah.
And I think he is really good about like, he's so good at like finding a good balance of people, and like, yeah. And I think that's what it takes to be really successful. Like you have to kind of just like know the people around you, and we all mesh really well, and like I said, we all bring something different to the table that at the end of the day, like it works. So
yeah, teamwork's definitely.
Yeah. So, and like I said, it's a hot summer market, so things are picking up at work, so that's exciting. So it's always like, but then again, I feel bad for, it's a seller's market right now. Like it kind of sucks to be a buyer because, I mean, we had a house last week. We had it up on the market for not even 24 hours.
Yeah.
And we had over 30 showing requests and 17 offers.
Oh my gosh.
In a weekend.
That's
so
a lot.
like great for the seller, but like there's just so many buyers out there and there's just not enough inventory.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to be a buyer right now because you could be writing an offer on your dream house and like the chances of you getting it are just like so slim because there's, however, like if it's a great house, there's all these other people out there writing the same offer if not better. So it's like, yeah.
I was actually looking at a website for houses a few days ago just because I was curious to see like how much a house would be in this area because it's so nice over here. Like I love living back here.
Yeah, no, this is cute back here.
For sure. But I came across a whole bunch of other houses where it was like 2,800, 2,900. I'm like, wow, that's
just
deal.
Because of the area we live in. You have a lot of like land bank properties.
Right.
And like I said, it's just because of the area. But that's what's crazy is, I mean, over here, you've got a $10 million house, like, on a pond with, like, 5 acres.
Yeah.
And let's say...
like a mile down the road.
Monclova or something. Or even in Toledo. I mean, there's houses like that. They're just hidden. And you don't know they're there.
Right,
and they'll, like, pop up for sale. And I'll be, like, looking at it. I'm like, oh, my God, I didn't even know this existed.
Right.
Yeah, and then... couple miles over this way, you've got a $2,000 house that's basically just a shell.
Right.
And yeah, they're like land bank properties, so you have to have like a proof of like funds for it, and you have to have like a proof of a plan of like what you're gonna do with it when you purchase it. Like you can't just walk up with $2,000 and be like, I'll take it.
Dang it.
Yeah.
There goes that plan. But yeah, I was actually just driving down Bancroft because I like take a new route to get to my workplace, and oh my gosh, there are some nice houses.
Yes. Yeah, even back here. I mean, in Old Orchard, there's so many cute houses with so much character.
Yeah, and like I've been here for 4 years now, and I'm just now noticing that there are like these houses here. But yeah, cool. So going back to college life, what are some things that you wish you would have done differently?
Oh gosh. Well, like I said, so I transferred from Western Michigan. I went there for 1 semester. Me and Keizu just didn't click, so I moved back here. But to make a long story short, yeah, I moved back here, transferred. I was an advertising major there. Loved it. So I would say, number 1, I feel like that's where things like kind of got hard for me because I loved my major, but I didn't love where I was enough to like stick with that. Like that alone wasn't worth it for me, so I had to move here. And Toledo didn't really have, I mean, obviously don't have an advertising program. So I was like, well, I'll do marketing. Like that's got to be super similar. So then I started as a marketing major, and it was just like sales, accounting, economics, and I'm like, this is not me. This isn't what I like. And I feel like everything at UT, and like no offense to UT, like their business program is amazing, but it's to me, everything was just marketing and sales.
Yeah.
And, like, I've never had a desire to be in sales. So I was like, I hate this. Like, I don't know what to do. So I wanted to switch majors anyways, but then I was in a college algebra class, and me and math just don't click. So I had like a 38% at midterms.
Oh my gosh.
Granted, like, I probably wasn't putting a whole lot of effort into the class, but like when something doesn't make sense to me, I'm just like, okay. I'm like, when it comes to math, I'm like, if it's not going to make sense today, and it's not going to make sense tomorrow. And if I'm like, if I can't pass college algebra, how am I supposed to take business calculus?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I was just thinking of all these things I still had to take, and I was like, no, this just isn't for me. So got with a communication advisor, switched my major to just general comm, because at the time, media communication didn't exist.
Yeah.
So I was just a general comm major, essentially like going into journalism.
Okay.
So I was doing a lot of journalism classes and writing classes. Then at the end of my junior year, I had to get something taken care of for a class. So I was like meeting with one of my teachers in the communication department, and she was like, oh my gosh, like, we're creating this new major, like, you should totally look into it. I know that you only have a year left, and like there's some prereqs that we'd have to like kind of cancel out for you, but like it'd be fine, like we'd sub other classes you've taken for this and that, whatever. So I was like, okay, sure. So then I switched to media comms. That's where like the 4 major switches come from. But yeah, so then for my last year of college, I was doing video production. Like, that's all I was doing. I was learning how to like shoot video on a camera and white balance and do all this fun stuff and edit. And then I took UT10, and I was anchoring and going out and shooting my own stories. And about a month before graduation, I was like, crap, I don't really want to do this.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, every year of college, I've done something so different, and I still can't figure out what I want to do. And I got really stressed out and like kind of really beat myself up over it, because it's like, okay, I just spent 4 years, including like 2 summers worth of classes, going to school so I could graduate in 4 years, be done, get out and get a job. And I'm here, and I don't even know what I want to do. Like, I'm about to have a college degree and nothing to do with it, or nothing to show for it. And that's what I felt like.
Well, I think there's 2 things that you kind of get out of college, even if like you do a major that you might not necessarily want. The first thing I think you get is it definitely helps with soft skills, with communication, if you like partake in a lot of the organizations, and you're pretty involved on campus, so I'm sure you were able to get like a little bit out of that. And then another thing is it just kind of shows people that are hiring that like, hey, you are committed to something for a period of time, and it kind of shows that you can like put effort into something, I guess. So I mean, even if you end up not getting something that you necessarily want to do, it could still kind of help you out a little bit, I guess. Yeah.
And no, like I said, I love my job. I think everything works out. Everything happens for a reason. Like I said, I never would have expected to end up in real estate, but here I am. And it's working out great for me. Like I said, I'm learning a ton. I'm gaining great experience in multiple departments, which is great. But yeah, anyways, to kind of, in conclusion, like once at the end of school, I just started to applying to basically any communications / marketing job.
Yeah.
As long as it wasn't sales, I was like, I don't care what I'm doing.
Right.
God, I probably applied for like 40 or 50 jobs from like February to May. And maybe only got like 8 interviews. But yeah, so yeah, I had one other job offer at another place, but I decided not to go with that, which I'm glad.
Yeah.
Just like I said, everything happens for a reason. I knew that if I took it, I wasn't going to be happy, and I would have just been taking it to have a job type thing. Yeah. So I was like, not worth it for me.
So if you could sum all that up into like one sentence.
Oh gosh.
So like what about all that did you wish you would have done differently? Like,
wish I would have done differently?
Yeah.
In an ideal world, I wish I would have just known what I wanted to do right off the bat, so I could spend 4 years like focusing on that.
Right.
Like obviously, like when you go to nursing school, you spend 3.5 years doing nursing stuff. You're taking biology, you're taking anatomy, you're doing all of these things, and you know you're going to be a nurse at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Or, like, even a teacher. Like, you do all these things, and you're an education major, and you know at the end of the day, like, you're going to be a teacher of some sort.
Right.
So, like, for me, well, fun fact. My dream job is to be a teacher. A high school English teacher.
That's cool.
So, ever since I was young, I wanted to be a teacher. And my parents, like, loved them to death, but they kind of strayed me away from that. Like, when I was about to start school, they're like, oh, don't be a teacher. Like, they make horrible money, and, like, it's kind of not a great industry right now, which, agreed. But I think when you love something, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you make or whatever. Okay, anyways. But yeah, so I guess I wish I don't know, I guess just, like, follow your heart. Like, deep down, like, you know what you want to do. Like, you know what you want to spend the rest of your life doing. I feel like I got to a point where it was just, like, I was too deep. I was too far in.
Yeah, I got it.
If I was feeling really spontaneous one day or really impulsive, which I have been known to be, maybe I'll go back to school and get a degree in higher education. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, it's never too late. And, like, if it's something you think you'll really like to do, maybe even, like, shadow some teachers just to see what a typical day is like.
I mean, we went to school for 12 years. I hope we know what a typical
okay, yeah, that's
day is
true.
like.
But I mean, like, from a teacher's perspective,
I know,
because, like, they have to do, like, learning plans and everything, and that's one thing I kind of talked about in another podcast, but basically how it'd be really cool if whatever major you're going into they usually have, like, an intro to that major class you have to take. If they made you go out and shadow someone for a day, I feel like that would be really helpful. Like, especially with me in engineering, I probably would have switched a lot faster.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's the problem is they have these intro classes, as I'm doing air quotes on a podcast. They have these intro classes, but you really aren't learning anything about exactly, like, what a typical day in the field is like.
Depending on the teacher.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like I've taken a lot of prereqs or whatever, and it's like, okay, what did I really grasp from that? But yeah. No, I think that's a great idea.
So, what's something that you are glad you did in college?
Glad I did. For sure, get involved. I almost feel like I wish I would have gotten involved more. But at the end of the day, like, it's really hard to be a full-time college student and juggle multiple jobs and also multiple organizations and, like, stay sane and healthy. So
right.
But yeah, getting involved 100%. I loved that I met all my best friends in college. But aside from getting involved, I think it's also important. I know that, like, it's not for everyone and not everyone's able to, but I think having a job during school is really important too. Because I think there's a lot of people, maybe this is, I'm not going to speak for everyone, but I think there's a lot of people that go to school for 4 or 5 years or whatever, and they're able to not have a job, and then they graduate and they go out to the real world and they're like, oh, I have to work now. Like, I have to, like, go to work and do a job.
Right.
And I think that, like, obviously a job is a job. Like, it's not fun every day. Like, there's days we don't want to go to work. And it's not because at least for me, it's not because I hate my job. There's just days I want to lay in my bed. Like, I don't want to go to work.
Right,
I mean, everyone has those days. But I think that for me, it's like, okay, well, I've been working since I was 17, and I've always had a job, sometimes 2 or 3. So it's like, I know discipline. I know, I'm trying to think of the word I was going to use. Whatever. I know discipline, and I know that there's just some things you got to do even when you don't want to do it. And I think that a lot of people don't have that mentality, like, coming out of school. And they've kind of just been handed everything, like, here's this, now here's a degree, even here's a job, but now you have to go work it.
Right.
And, like, yeah.
Yeah, and that's, like, definitely something that I experienced, because I didn't really have to do any full-time job until I did my first co-op, and then...
Not even a full-time job, but just, like, get a part-time job.
Yeah. But, I mean, even that, though, like, I feel like there's a significant difference between part-time and full-time, because, like, part-time, there's something just really significantly different about, like, 20 hours, 24 hours to 40 hours, where you're doing 8 hours Monday through Friday.
But, okay, say you're going to school, say you're taking 15, one semester I was taking 18 credit hours.
Yeah. And
working 2 jobs. So, like, that's...
2 jobs?
Yeah.
You did 2 jobs and went to school?
Yeah, I took 18 credit hours the one semester.
You're insane.
Well, I was nannying Monday through Friday.
Okay, that's a fun job, though.
Okay, but it's still work, so I'd go to school all day, and then I'd nanny for 2 or 3 hours. And then on the weekends, I had a weekend job. So I was working like 7 days a week and going to school full time.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge time commitment.
Yeah.
But no, I'm kind of jealous because I think I would make a great nanny, but you usually don't see too many like guy babysitters.
I think you would be a good nanny.
But I feel like I would fit right in because I am.
We'll just set you up a Care.com account right now.
Right, because I am a kid on the inside. So like we'd be playing action figures, Minecraft. Like, whenever I go in to see my cousins in West Virginia, like, they're always super excited to see me, and then I always
They're like, yes, finally, someone who's going to play with us.
Yep. I end up playing Minecraft and jumping on the trampoline the whole time.
Oh, don't act like you don't want it.
It's fun. It's just, even just, like, 3 days in a row of just nonstop playing, it's a lot.
Oh, okay. I actually thought of it. I have one piece of advice. Don't do an unpaid internship. I'm going to be 100% honest. I took an unpaid internship the summer between my junior and senior year of college, and it is my biggest regret.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say I didn't learn anything. If there's one thing I learned, it's that I didn't want to go into PR. Yeah. So it was like a PR and marketing internship, but there was another girl doing the internship, and normally they had like a PR person and then a marketing person. But we both applied for the PR one. Yeah. So they're like, okay, well, you guys will just both be the PR and marketing interns and like split the stuff. And like you'll do some marketing, some PR, and then you'll do some marketing, some PR. Well, then I feel like I low-key ended up getting a lot of the PR stuff. I did a lot of the marketing stuff too, but the PR stuff that I was doing, I was like, oh gosh, like maybe I don't really want to go into PR. So if I learned anything from the internship, it was that I didn't like PR, which is good because I knew not to pursue it. Yeah. But yeah, like it just, and then like not getting paid, like that just sucks. So it like low-key made me like not want to be there sometimes. I'm like, I'm just doing this to put on a resume. Right. And at the end of the day, that unpaid internship I busted my butt for a whole summer, like did not get me the job I have now. Yeah.
And going off of that, so like, yeah, I definitely agree with you for the most part. If it's like an internship where it's not paid, but it's working for somewhere really well known.
Or where you could like potentially get a job after you graduate with that same company, like, okay, great, another story.
Yeah. Like, for example, in the industry I want to get into is 3D animation. And so there are definitely a good handful of studios where they don't do paid internships. But with that, like in that specific industry, you actually do a lot of work, and it really is important to have an internship on your resume to get a job, just because it's such a competitive industry.
You need that experience.
But like, for example, I did a internship. The first internship I did in my major, it wasn't paid. It was for a radio station that I'm not going to say the name of. And it was, I just want to say so many things right now, but I know they're not going to listen to this because we have approximately like 5 viewers, but I still don't want to say. Basically, I did not enjoy my time there, and we'll leave it at that.
Sounds good. I'm picking up what you're throwing down.
But yeah, that's the first thing I've ever like quit. Like, it was mid internship. I was about 28 hours in, and I had another internship that I could get into, so I switched internships in the middle of that last internship to do another unpaid internship. But at least with this unpaid internship, it was doing social media, which was something more I was like into, I guess. And even with the other internship, so because it was unpaid, I feel like I didn't have as much of a need to do things, I guess. Like, it wasn't...
Yeah, like, you don't feel appreciated, but you also... And I think that's the worst part. Like, you're doing all this work, and, like, you're not getting paid, but you're also not... Like, you don't really care.
I didn't even really do a whole lot of work, either.
Yeah, but then even if there was work to do, it's like, but I'm not getting paid to be here. And like, Which I hate to have that mentality. Like, that sounds so bad. Like, I'm really not like that as a person.
Yeah, and like, I get you get credits out of it, but for my experience, I didn't really learn a whole lot, and I actually kind of spent a lot of the time doing my own studyings because I had a lot of free time.
Oh, I didn't even get credits for it.
No?
No.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know, like, something about... I didn't know that I could get credits for it. Like, there was just, like, lack of communication. I was like, oh, I'm doing this internship. And the other girl I was doing the internship was like, oh my gosh, like, are you doing the thing where you, like, fill all this out and, like, write this paper and, like, get credits for it? And I'm like, what? I'm like, That's a thing.
And
I think by then it was like too late, or I was like,
Yeah.
screw it, I don't want to write a 5-page paper or something. I don't know.
And I think it counts as like a 4,000 credit class too, so.
How?
Yep.
Could have taken that instead of UT 10. I was kidding.
But yeah, definitely like it did really help me figure out what I didn't want to do. And
yeah,
that's
same, exactly.
That's important to know, because you don't want to go into a job and then realize you don't want to do it.
Yes.
And so it's definitely better to be able to do that in an internship than in your actual job.
Like if that would have been my first job out of college, I would have not been happy.
Yeah. And I think one thing about paid internships, if it's paid, that's a sign that there's like a demand for it, you know, like they need someone, they don't necessarily need someone to do it, but like they're paying someone to do this work. So
for me, I feel like it was unpaid, but they actually needed someone doing the work that me and this other girl were doing, which kind of sucked. And that's what I meant when I said I also felt unappreciated, because like here we were like putting in all this time and doing all this work, and at the end of the day, like one, we weren't getting paid, and two, we just didn't feel appreciated there. Like we were both kind of on the same page.
Yeah. But I would say it definitely is important to do some sort of internship within your time at college, because even if it doesn't go out how you end up wanting it to go out, you'll still be able to know, like, I don't like this.
Yes.
And that's also important. So, let's see.